Hey, y'all. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Yep, y'all come on in here with your queen. Come on. Come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. We got something to talk about tonight. Y'all already know how I do. Y'all already know how I do. Let me get these glasses right, y'all, because they trying to fall all off my face. I'm sweating. Let me get it right. Y'all come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Special night with this. I have a very special guest on my platform again tonight, y'all. So, welcome to what Miss J's Unfiltered Talk Show and Podcast. So let me say this: when I tell people that is Miss J's Unfiltered, they be saying, "Well, you mean you gotta be, talking all sorts of some kind of way." I said, "No, like I tell y'all, it's unfiltered, but I bring it to you respectfully. Y'all already know how I do, okay? And look, if you're watching and you see that little red little thing over there and you just blinking and blinking and blinking and blinking and blinking and blinking and blinking, that means you watching your queen live. But now if you come and you come across it and it's not red, that means you watching a replay. And you know what? I appreciate y'all doing that too. All right, y'all sprinkle this out because this is gonna be a very good, very good show tonight. Y'all know I'm always bringing y'all information. Y'all know I'm always bringing y'all information um to try to help you. Oh, yeah, I'm knocking stuff down to try to help y'all help people and everything. Okay, so without further ado, and my guest tonight, this is her second time gracing my platform, y'all. Her second time gracing my platform, and I'm so glad she's taking the time out of her busy schedule. And before the show's over, you're gonna see why I said busy schedule, okay? To come again on my platform. But tonight we are talking about a very serious topic. um May is ALS Awareness Month. That's what we're gonna be talking about. All right, now my guest tonight is a screenwriter, a filmmaker. Yeah, y'all hear me right? A screenwriter, a filmmaker. She's also an ALS advocate. She's a motivational speaker. She's just around. She's just around. She's doing it, y'all. Especially in the film department. She's doing it too. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring her on up here. Without further ado, because we got to talk about this. We got to talk about ALS. She's going to share her journey, um, her experience and all, dealing with a mother that was had ALS. All right. So let me bring up yes, I said it, my beautiful guest, Miss Stacey Thomas. Yes. Yes, there she is. There she is. Yes. Yeah. You know I appreciate you being here, my queen. You know I appreciate that.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
beautiful.
it.
Thank you for having me again, Angela. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
You are so welcome. And I know about stage you can hear me, right? When you're backstage, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Um, but this is a topic, that we want to bring awareness to. We want to bring awareness to. And you're here to share your journey and talk about your journey, um, talk about your experience with a parent that had ALS. So what I'm allow you to do, um, I want you to explain to the people what is ALS. Can I hear you? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Mm-mm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now
Okay. It
that's all
moved.
right, baby.
Okay. ALS disease, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a nerve disease. A nerve disease that weakens the muscles, takes away the ability to walk, talk, and at times, or some people would say eventually, takes away the ability to breathe on one's own.
Wow. Wow. And I'll be very honest, I had my notes in front of me there in the house because I had the actual word for the acronym ALS. You know, what does the A and the L and the S stands for?
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
There we go. There we go. There we go. And it's just ALS. Um, now, do you feel, do you think that is that something hereditary?
It can be hereditary, Angela. Unfortunately, like myself, if you don't have a doctor that's experienced in working with patients or that's knowledgeable about ALS disease,
Mm-hmm.
your doctor will tell you no, it's not hereditary. Your doctor will look at you as a black individual and say it's a very small chance that you'll get it, right? Well, it was a very small chance that my mother would get it, but she got it.
Wow.
So the doctor that doesn't know about it may tell you that it's not hereditary. Like as I said, I was told that it wasn't hereditary. But once I started advocating for it, I started having more African Americans touching base with me, connecting with me on Facebook.
Wow.
So it's not always hereditary, but it
Okay.
can be
But
hereditary.
it can be okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. And since you mentioned the doctor, so there is a particular doctor that you must see, right?
Well, I think with any disease, when somebody tells you you have a disease, you have to go to that person that specializes in that disease. Because what may happen is, like in my mother's case, my mother went to a neurologist, right?
Okay. Okay.
He didn't know anything about ALS disease. The reason we took her to that doctor was because her speech was slurring. Okay.
Oh.
He said to my, and she had a little, she, she had gotten a limp. So her speech was slurring. She got in a limp. The average person, or if you got your cousin diagnosing you or your aunt, they say it's a stroke.
Right.
What the doctor told my mother was her speech was slurring because she was stressed. She was limping because she had a slip disc in her back. First of all, I said to my mother, we have to see another doctor because if you're slurring because you're stressed, then half of the United States will be slurring when they talk.
Tell it.
So,
Yeah.
and that was a doctor she trusts. And Angela, and I've got to throw this in.
Come on. It's
A
all
lot
right.
of times, especially our people, not
Mm-hmm.
everybody in our community, but a lot of times our people, especially in rural areas, we get stuck on one doctor. Our
Yes.
mother went to that doctor, our brother went to that doctor, everyone went to that doctor. And because
Family
he or
doctor.
she has that title doctor, they think that doctor knows everything,
And they do.
right? My
And they,
mother trusted this doctor. We insisted she go to a second doctor. The second doctor was a good doctor because the second doctor admitted, I don't know.
see, that is.
Don't know. So we went to the third doctor. The third doctor says they did a brain scan. They did the x-rays. The third
Mm-hmm.
doctor says to us, a neurologist, he says to us, there's nothing in the test that shows she has what I'm about to say. There's a little arthritis behind her neck, but that's not enough to affect her speech. Nothing's wrong with her brain. Her brain just shows that she's aging. But I think based on what I see, she has ALS. Never heard of it, Angela. And I'm the kind of
Wow.
person, you speak this word, but we're gonna go to another doctor.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
before I even told him that, he was a good doctor. He said, but I want you to go to someone that specializes in it, someone that has an ALS clinic to be fully diagnosed. So it
See,
wasn't
that's
until
right.
the third and fourth doctor did we know that's what she had.
Wow. But what I'm glad about this that she listened to y'all.
Well,
She
Angela, my mama did what she wanted to do, but
oh, okay.
but I gotta admit, I think if she could like really, really stand up for herself, because she always say I talk too much and I ask too many questions. I could see by her facial expressions and her moans, and sometime in her mumbling, She didn't want to listen.
Oh,
Speak,
okay.
but when
Okay.
but when somebody speaks something like that on your loved one, you want them to see more than one doctor.
Exactly. 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 So keeping it, let me see this real quick. Keeping it simple said, your thoughts, asking your thoughts. As a respiratory therapist over 35 years, my primary patient base consisted of individuals diagnosed with ALS. I began working at Shannon's Hospital in 2018 as a liaison for ALS patients. Initially, we saw one or two ALS diagnoses, but after the ice bucket challenge, huh? We started seeing 2 or 3 new ALS patients a week. It seemed that many patients had ALS, but doctors weren't diagnosing it because it wasn't well known. They were often diagnosed with other muscular diseases. However, the awareness from the ice bucket challenge prompted doctors to look at ALS, increasing the number of diagnosed patients to 45. Once doctors started testing for ALS, the lifespan of these patients seemed to extend from 5 to 6 years up to 20 years. Wow. What you say about that, Stacey?
I like what she said, and thank you for all
Thank you,
that you're
keeping it
doing.
simple, baby. Thank you for
Thank,
being in
thank,
here, my love.
thank you for that, and thank you for all that you're doing for patients. Um, I, it's something because if you don't know about it, like I said, you don't know to put a diagnosis like that on someone. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, though, when someone makes a diagnosis like that, because there are so many different types of nerve diseases, you still have to get a second opinion and sometimes a third. Because I know an individual that had slight the some of the characteristics of the disease. He had been told that he had ALS disease. I got a phone call. I said to my friend, "You need to see another doctor." And at the end of the day, he did not have ALS disease. See,
Wow.
bec- because if you have things that are very similar, I'm not knocking physicians. I have some physicians that I really respect, and there's some awesome physicians out here. But at times, people may not know what's wrong with you. So they'll tell you you have, let's say, how do I say this? They may not know that it's in between. If something's in between A and it's not quite A and it's not quite B,
Mm-hmm.
if the doctor is not knowledgeable, he's going to put B on you.
Sure is. You're right. You're right.
You see,
You're
and in
right.
and in our community, because there are not a lot of African Americans that have it, but the number is growing, and because African Americans, um, how do I say? Because we don't always want our business taken out of the house, because we don't
Exactly.
always want to do surveys, the number could be higher than what's actually being reported for African Americans having the disease.
Wow. Um, that leads into the next question I'm going to ask when you brought the African American part in. Honestly, and I'm pretty sure I'm like everybody, some people I don't know, but I can just talk about myself. I really thought just the Caucasian people ended up with ALS. I really did.
Well, when we say that, Angela, and I'm just,
And why do you think? I mean, I really did.
well, two things to that. And you know I like to keep things real, and
Oh,
I'm
I know that. That's why I
okay.
love you, baby.
So
Yeah.
look, okay. So number one, disease and illness cannot discriminate.
Okay.
What color you are, what your economic status is, what your religion is. So we have to like get rid of that. And I agree, you think only a certain group of people do get things, but when you really look at it, disease doesn't know what color we are.
Come
And
on
the
now.
and
Okay.
the other reason that we don't know about it is because when the media comes out, whether it's a film, whether it's a commercial, whether it's something on social media, they
Mm-hmm.
are showing you Caucasian families.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you don't
Yep.
market to African Americans,
That's the
African
truth.
Americans don't know about it. African Americans can't go to the doctor. African Americans can't get help.
Yeah, that's the truth. You're right. You're right. It's not that they're not marketing us on that screen. I'm just being very honest about it because it's the truth. It's the truth. And when now and now recently that they have started marketing us on several different things, but it be backlash behind it. You see what I'm saying? It's been a lot of backlash. But what you're talking about now, it would never be us. It would never be us. So yes, that was my, and I can honestly say now, that's my honest opinion. I just thought that Caucasian people were the one that caught, and it's another word, Lou Gehrig's disease, also, right?
Right. It started out, the baseball player was Lou Gehrig's, and they named the disease after him. And then I guess the medical term is the ALS disease.
Okay, and I stated that you're an advocate for ALS. Um, Going to the I know this is probably more like it that your mom. What that was what pushed you to do this, to
Yes,
become an
because
advocate.
I didn't know anything about ALS. I never heard of ALS. It's something like when you go through hard times, I always say, even through hard times, there's a blessing that comes out of a storm.
Come on now.
So we didn't know about ALS, but having learned about it and taking care of her and going through it, it's like any other illness. But I tell people, just if you don't fight for this, fight for something. But I fight for this because this disease I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Mm,
You could
wow,
have you could have the worst person in the world stand in front of me, and I would not wish this disease on them.
wow. Now let's see how to ask this one. Where when we have a loved one that has been diagnosed with ALS, right? It's a
Hmm.
lot of things got to come into play. It's a lot of equipment got to be coming into play. The care got to be. Where does this come from? Where does the help come from? Is there help? Where does help come from when you got a loved one?
Help. So the ALS Association is a large organization. And when you work with the ALS Association, they're very knowledgeable on companies or things that you need. Now,
Mm-hmm.
because it can be very expensive, a few years ago when I went to a meeting, it was said that it was over $200,000 a year to take care of ALS patients. Well, we know
Wow.
as time goes on, things get higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
thank God you have an association like the ALS Association, which has what's called a loaner closet. So let
Wow.
me back up. Okay, I'm skipping something.
That's
So when
okay.
an individual has ALS disease, and when
Mm-hmm.
an individual is taken to an ALS clinic, they're going to have at the ALS clinic, it's like a one-stop shop. In
Wow.
Virginia, we have the ALS clinic is a part of VCU. They have there the doctor, they have their a chaplain. They have
Wow.
there for speech. They have different people as far as therapy that need to talk to you about your loved one and how to help your loved one.
Mm-hmm.
The ALS clinic, and they have them in North Carolina. They have one, I believe. What is the big hospital, Duke?
Duke
And they
Hospital, they do. They
and they
do.
have it at other hospitals. But you always have an ALS clinic that's going to tell you how to get help, and then the ALS Association, which is a different entity,
Mm-hmm.
they have what they call a loaner closet. So I'm hoping every association has something like this. You need a wheelchair. They loan you a wheelchair as long as you need it. You need a lift chair. They loan you a lift chair. Anything you need. You need a ramps for your house to pull a wheelchair up on. You can get it from the ALS Association
Wow. At no cost.
at no cost.
You
So then, and even when it comes time to when a patient loses their speech,
yes.
someone at the ALS clinic, or their doctor will refer them to someone. My mother was referred to the Children's Hospital for to be, along with the speech therapist, she was tested like um for a device. There are devices that can speak for you. They tell you how to get assistance in buying those devices. Hopefully, insurance will take care of it. You know, it's changed over the years. When my mother
Pretty
had it in
sure.
2015, they had a computer that could speak for her using your eyes or clicking your cheek, something in your cheek, so that they
Wow.
could communicate. So there's help out there.
Mm-hmm.
And Angela, it's so much, and I don't want to hold you, like, talk you to death.
It's okay. Look, this. Hey,
And
I
and
want some. I want these people to get some information. Those
and,
that's watching, thank y'all who gonna watch the replay. Let's get them information.
and then there's, and I'm gonna put everything in my film when I get it funded.
Yeah.
Then there's places like, you go to the Social Security office, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking bad about the Social Security office, but I'm gonna tell you about my experience. My
Exactly.
mother had ALS disease, and I was told that there's certain diseases that the process speeds up when you're going to apply for disability. I
Oh,
called, and I was told I've never heard that. I called again. Ma'am, that's not true. She has to wait the same amount of time as anyone else. I called a third time. Now I want to know, where's the supervisor?
exactly.
Now I've got to educate the person working in the office about their own rules. A lot of times people go to places when you need help, they say, no, you don't qualify.
Yep.
What I found out, Angela, when you have ALS disease, it is one of the diseases that you do not make that patient wait 6 or 8 months to receive disability or Medicaid. That
Ooh.
disease, along with other diseases, you process that as soon as you can, because they need help. And it's not because
Wow.
everybody
Did
else
y'all
doesn't
hear
need
that?
help.
I hope y'all heard that.
It's not
I
because
hope you
everybody
heard it.
else doesn't need help. And when people tell you they don't know something, when they quick to say no, and you know you've been told different, you've read different, you keep calling for your loved one.
Y'all
So,
heard that?
so you have
Y'all
the Social
heard what
Security
happened?
office, and then you go to social services.
Uh huh.
That's help. But let me tell you about that. And I'm not bad mouthing them either.
Come
I'm
on
just
with it.
talking about what I went through.
Exactly.
My mother worked all of her life. Most of her life, she worked 2 jobs. Why can't she get food stamps? Why can't she get some help with somebody to come in to care for her?
Exactly.
So
And home care.
we go to that office. My mother gets a couple dollars too much in disability to get in-home care. She's about to send me and my mother out of the building. And I say to her, do you not have anyone that could help me with my mother? She thinks. But because I have done my research, I said, well, what about long-term care? Or, you don't have that here,
Ooh.
Angela.
Come on now.
Now we got, oh, yes, ma'am, you're talking about such and such. People will not give you all the information you need.
Y'all better get
And
this.
they may not even know it themselves. So I'm not putting people
I
down
get it.
at the
That's
social
right.
security office or social services. But if you don't know, tell me you don't know.
Just tell me you don't know, but I'm gonna let me see can I help you to find out.
And my reason for just, I have to tell you this, is because we have to stop. We have to stop thinking that the first answer is the definite answer. I don't care how many degrees they have. I don't care how long they've been on that job. When
Mm-hmm.
you need help, you don't stop. And people need to advocate for sick loved ones.
Wow. And see, by you doing your research to ask her about that long term, that long care, see, like you said, she thinking. You see what I'm saying? You did your research. I hope y'all. I hope y'all caught what she gave y'all. Now, if somebody's out there that's been recently and newly diagnosed, I hope y'all caught what Stacey said. I hope you caught what she said, because there was some powerful information there. And you were right, because now I can talk about myself, and I admit I'm one of the ones that if you take if that would I know me, I probably said, well, all right, then let me see can I find something else. You see what I'm saying? Because I sometimes I try not to push, you know, because I know how I get sometimes. But I really felt like I probably said, well, okay, let me see, let me go see can I find another somebody else that really can help us. You see what I'm saying? But see, that would have been because I didn't do what you did. I wouldn't have done no homework. But see, but now you do your homework and you go up in there, you better say, no, wait a minute, what about so and so and so and so and so? You see what I'm saying? So I have to admit that. I have to admit that I probably would have just said, well, okay, well, let me see, can I find another route? I can just be honest about it.
Angela, I have called Verizon because I need to make payment arrangements on my phone. And the first person says no. And I say I'm gonna call back and get somebody else. And that person says yes. Just it's people. It's
I
people,
got you.
Angela.
It's who you get. It's
That's
who
what
you get.
exactly,
Because
exactly.
if you would have went in there maybe a day or two later, got somebody else, that person probably said, well, you know what? We do have this program right here, so and so and so and so and so.
It depends on the
So
person.
it depends on the person. Well, I hope y'all caught what she was saying now. Let me see the comments. And Miss keeping this, it's because African Americans are not getting involved.
Right.
I had African Americans to say to me, that's a white man's disease. Wow. It's like years ago, AIDS was the gay disease. That's why awareness is so important. Yes, it is. Thank you, keeping it simple, minister. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Angela, I met a African American man once, and I wanted to give him a card that I had showing that I was an advocate because I knew our community didn't know a lot. And I said to the man that my mother had it, Angela. You know what he said?
What?
Now,
What?
Angela, you see what color I am. He
Uh
said, Black people don't get that disease, and walked
huh.
off.
Oh, do y'all do y'all see what education, being educated about diseases like this is helpful. Now, if he would have been somewhere listening at an event somewhere, somebody speaking about ALS, he would have found out.
Right.
He would have found out instead of looking in your face telling you black people don't get that and walked away. That's ridiculous. That's sad. So keeping them one more comment, then we'll move on. Keeping it simple says one of the most challenging things that I observed with the ALS journey, it was if there was nothing wrong with the patient mentally and they were kind of stuck in their own body trying to find ways to communicate, that was one of the hardest things to watch nurses and other caregivers come and talk about them, but not to them. I made it my point to treat every patient like a human, and I figure out ways to communicate. So when saying that it's important that the family come up with a way of communicating with that patient before the disease process progresses. What you say about that? I think that's so true too.
It
You got
is. It's said that they become a prisoner in their own body because, like she said, they can't talk. The mind stays good. The mind stays real good. I've gone to take my mother, about to leave the house to take her to physical therapy or something, and she starts moaning and moaning, and I'm like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I'm looking around. I left the light on behind me.
oh, okay.
If I didn't have her purse, so can't speak, but the mind is good. The heart stays good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I can't. A prisoner in your own body. That's how can you just lay there, know everything that's going on, but you can't say anything?
Right.
You can't. My mother couldn't even pick up a penny. My mother got to the point she couldn't press a remote control.
Mm. Now I'm gonna ask you this. This is a two-parter, and I want you to think hard before you answer this. First question: when mom got diagnosed, and you was told, do you remember how you felt?
Yeah, it was the whole family was in there. Tears,
Mm-hmm.
tears.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother pointed to heaven and she could barely talk and said, "I'm coming home." In
Really?
the doctor's office. She pointed to heaven and looked up and said, "I'm coming home."
Wow. Now, in your journey watching your mom, I was, what's the word I want to use? Is it digress? Not decrease? Decline. That's the word I want to use. When I know there had to be a feeling to have on you to watch your mother. I'm looking at you because I see your mother picture, you every spit of her,
Thank
and
you.
I feel like she was such a had such a joyful spirit about her, right? And
Hmm.
you knew that, right? So sitting here watching your mom go over the years to decline, I know there had to been some type of burden to have. You see what I'm saying? And then at one point, did you feel helpless sometimes? You know.
I think the biggest probably two things that hurt me the worst was not being able to communicate with her even silently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um but I questioned God and my faith.
You did.
I asked God. I stood outside one day and I did ask God. I said, I think somewhere in the Bible it says all you need is faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
And it made me think, so I guess God, I don't got enough faith. Because if all you needed was faith of a mustard seed, in my mind, she'd be healed.
Wow.
So it
Wow.
was hard. It was hard.
It was hard.
It was hard.
It was hard. I now at this moment, and I'm now if you let me say this. If you feel you need to come down from the camera and come back up, I'm good with that. I'm good with that to get yourself back together. Cause I would never have my guests up here like this. You see what I'm saying? You feel you want to remove yourself to get yourself together, give yourself a minute or two to come back up. I'm okay with that. I just let you know that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So at this point, tell me about this article that you wrote.
Oh, so and it may be the writer in me, I don't know, but just watching everything that my mother was going through, it just kind of hit me what she might would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a newspaper article. I narrated it. In in what I thought my mother would say to people if she had to tell you about what she was going through.
Wow. So those that's watching, in the description, I put just a little bit in there. So I'm gonna allow Stacey, when she feels like she's ready to start to read that article, she's gonna read the article, y'all, that she wrote. And it ended up in the newspaper, right?
Yeah, in the newspaper.
In
Yeah.
Virginia, right?
Hmm.
Okay. When you ready, you start, baby.
So it says, Mom may have thought this and could not speak. My life with ALS. A daughter imagines what her mom would say. Hello, I say as others busily walk past me, barely acknowledging me with their slight expressions of pity. I sit in my wheelchair, thankful that my neck muscles have yet to betray me, giving me the ability to have some dignity as I hold my head up. Sometimes I want to scream with my outside voice, I am not contagious. I have ALS. My mind can't persuade my lips to smile, and my voice refuses to acknowledge that it should make sounds. ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a disease that weakens muscles and impacts one's physical condition. The cure is unknown, and a fight for a cure is underway. One day, without warning, my speech became slurred and walking became awkward. I was not under the influence of alcohol, nor had I endured a stroke. After being checked by a third physician, my final diagnosis was given at VCU's Neuromuscular and ALS Clinic. My family was in attendance, and their cries echoed in the room. Life, as I had always known it was over. And I felt like God called me to be with him on December 17th, 2015. Within 4 months of my diagnosis, the 61-year-old woman I'd grown to be changed physically and drastically. I have survived giving birth, endured the death of loved ones, managed to cope with stress, but still can't understand my now like childlike state. However, I am grateful for my family and the support they provide. Kenny, my soulmate, upholds his marital vows, reassuring me of his love. Stacey, my oldest daughter, takes on the motherly role. Fran, my middle child, greets me with a bright smile and reminds me that I'm beautiful. LaShonda, my baby, lets me know that I'll be all right. They delegate roles in hoping of helping me fight this disease. I miss holding my girls. Now they hold me, reassuring me all will be okay. I hope that the bond of our souls share have a telepathic ability to assure them of my love. Before my body forgot that we were a team, I could share love and laughter, both physically and verbally. I worked 2 jobs, cared for my sick mom, raised 3 daughters, and often sat on the pier fishing with my husband. My life was free of illness with the exception of small battles with allergies. However, I don't do any of those things I love anymore, particularly fishing. Instead, I lay in the hospital bed in my home, which causes me to think a lot. ALS has left me with only the ability to remember what was and to understand what currently is, which oftentimes leaves me with the desire to be called home. I am a prisoner within my own body.
Wow. 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 Whew. That was powerful. Wow, Stacey. Wow. Whew. Awesome. And may I ask your mom name?
Robin.
Robin.
Yeah,
Robin.
Robin.
That's in honor of your mother,
Thank
Robin.
thank you,
That was
Robin.
awesome. That was and you mm. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you for letting me read it, Angela. Thank you.
Um Miss Benita Claiborne giving praying and giving hearts. And Miss keeping it simple saint ministry. The Bible said and they died in faith. Hebrews 11:13. God did not hear her, but on the other side.
Right. I said it looking at my mother, the way she always stared up in the bed. I think she was staring up, asking God to bring her home. I think ALS disease attacks your flesh, but not your spirit.
Wow. Yes. Yes. And Miss keeping it simple said powerful and beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. That was awesome there. And I'm getting ready to end this in about another 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. Uh Stacey, I'm gonna give you the floor because tonight's segment is in our is all about bringing educational information to someone that may know somebody that going through this. Somebody might just got diagnosed. You see what I'm saying? Um, what would you say? What would you say to someone if they call you and say, "I just got diagnosed," or "My sister just got diagnosed"? What do you feel you would say to them?
Whew. I think the main thing is, and I'm learning more and more to have
Mm-hmm.
to have faith and trust God. Because at the end of the day, even with this disease being so bad, it's said that soldiers of a certain wartime are twice as likely to get it before a civilian. They don't know why. And I say for civilians, they go overseas to fight for our country, know who their enemy is,
Mm-hmm.
how can come up with a plan to defeat the enemy, come back here, have ALS disease, and don't know what they're fighting or how to fight it.
Mm.
Civilians are here and they don't know how to fight it. So I would say to people, pray,
Mm-hmm.
find the right doctor, and not just a doctor that doesn't care. Make sure it's a doctor that's compassionate.
Exactly.
You know,
That's we gotta definitely make sure we have one of those calls. These days, you go in the office 10 minutes, they out.
and
You know.
something I think is important when you go to care for someone that has ALS disease. Nothing against CNAs because they know their job.
Right.
Nothing against nurses because they know their job. But they have to know about ALS disease.
Uh oh.
You cannot pick an ALS patient up the way you pick a regular sick person. Cannot. Their muscles are weak.
Wow.
There's a you have to know how to work with an ALS patient. You have to have patience. My mother would I would sit down, she'd moan for a blanket. I put the blanket on her. I sit down, she'd moan to take the blanket off. I'd sit down, she'd moan for the blanket every minute. And your first thought is, I've asked for forgiveness. I said to my mother, "Are you playing with me, mama?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
want to see me get up and down like this?" Her body didn't have any control over the temperature.
Wow.
She was having muscle spasms in her legs. I didn't know. It took a while to find out. So you have to like it takes special care. It you have to be patient, and it takes a village, like they say, to take care of a child, to take care of an ALS patient.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. You thought she was just having you going up and down, but it was her body that was doing this.
It was her, yeah, because she'd want to stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. And I did. I said, "Mama playing with me." And then I realized that no, it was muscle spasms in her leg. She just couldn't tell me. And I
She
knew
just
that because I would describe what she was doing to the doctor. So one time we went to the hospital. You know, a hospital gives you, and I said this really quick,
no, it's okay.
they want to give you one blanket. So I
Yep.
say
Yep.
to the nurse, they say the doctor's coming. I say to a nurse, she needs another blanket. Well, she has a blanket. She needs another blanket.
Another blanket.
So a third next time she needed a third blanket, and they said, "Well, she has a blanket." I said, "Let me explain something to you.
Mm-hmm.
Her body does not control temperature. She's cold." And the reason you have to stay on top of it, because do not assume because she's a doctor or he's a doctor, they don't know
They
everything.
don't know everything. Wow. I hope y'all get it. Thank y'all for being in here too. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all getting this. That's why we need to have this conversation. You're right. You're right. Keeping the simple ministry. And now Stacey, I just remember what happened with it was a gentleman that had the gout.
Oh, so people get misdiagnosed. So one man that I know of, something was wrong with his arm, and he was told he had ALS disease, and he had not. He did not have it. So that was being misdiagnosed. So then there was an African American man living in a rural county. Um, I'm not sure if he went out to get second and third opinions, but not until a nurse came for a visit one day did the nurse say to the family members, "I don't think it's gout. I think he has ALS disease." The family had never heard of ALS disease,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what he had. But see, that goes back to we assuming and listening to our cousins, and the first person that wants to diagnose us, and we know something else could be wrong, we need to seek care elsewhere.
They thinking he had the gout, and that's not what it was.
See, and I'm not even sure if the doctor told him he had gout or he assumed he had gout.
Assumed that's what it was. Cause that's now be very honest. I'll be very honest. I told y'all I talk about myself. A couple years ago, um, one of my feet, footsies, whatever, whichever one it is, had swelled. I beat it in my hand, and I'm not first time that ever happened. I'm like, wait a minute now. And I'm be very honest, before I went to the doctor, first thing I said, oh Lord, tell me I got the gout. I'm not, I'm just be very honest. I'll be very honest, because that's the first thing that I thought. Because that's what we know, right? That's what we heard, what people talking,
Right,
especially
right.
in our black community, okay? That's what we heard, that you probably got the gout, But that's what it was. It was tendonitis or something in my foot. As I went to the doctor. But it's the first thing I thought about. I probably got the gout.
That's what. Well, that we hope it's the gout versus ALS. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. Versus
you know,
versus that. Exactly. Well, I really appreciate you coming up here. Cause
I really thank you.
you could have said no, I'm too busy.
No,
But
I said
you
thank
did.
you,
I know
thank
you did,
you.
baby. I know you did. But you did, and you said you will be glad to. Um, Let me get the comments real quick, because a lot of people think I want to think I'm overlooking the comments. And this is plus is an expensive diagnosis. Yes, it is keeping it simple,
It is.
ministry. And then she said, "Amen." And oh, here's another one. Keeping it simple says, I saw the caregiver deteriorate faster. I saw the caregiver deteriorate faster than the patient. Wow. What?
Yeah. It's a hard job for one person. It could be a hard job for two people. Thank God me and my family, like, we all had different roles, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I and it was my fault. I really thought when people said, "Well, we could help, we could help." Well, first, when she first got sick, I almost like thought she didn't have a husband, because I was at the point she needs to come home with me, because that's your mother and I'm the oldest.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then she made it known through the way she communicated that wasn't happening. And then I had another thing. People said, "Oh, let people help you, blah, blah, blah." I took a leave of absence from work, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to love her the way I love her.
You better tell it.
What I did not realize was it was true, though. You have to accept help.
Yes. Now you're so true about that, because when it comes to our parent, our mother, father, mentally we don't want nobody. We really don't want nobody else doing it but us. And
Right.
it's hard to accept help. It really is. It's hard to
Put a
accept
camera
help.
up. Look, put a
Put a
camera up.
camera up. As see that's right. Exactly. Put a camera. You ain't gotta let anybody know you doing that. Put a camera up and make sure you better put it up on your phone. If you're at work on your lunch break or go to the bathroom, pull your phone out real quick just to check.
Right,
Just check
right,
and see. You have a right to do that. But this
right.
is a conversation that we needed to have. Because it's someone. Oh, I didn't read her comment, and she said, "Oh, so true, Miss Claiborne. Oh, so true. I was very compassionate, and others thought I was doing too much. Oh, I know that feeling. Wow. She must be a Miss Bonita. You must be a
She was a
caregiver.
nurse. A nurse.
She's a nurse. Okay, okay. She's a nurse. Okay. But I want to thank you, my love.
Actually, Angela,
Go ahead on.
I'm sorry. She was the one on my show last night. Check it out.
Yes, I did. Her daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
I did. Yes, yes, I was in there. I don't know if you saw me, but yes, I was in.
Yes, she
I
was.
knew, I knew that name looked familiar to me. Well, hello, sweetheart. Yes, awesome show. I watched it. That was awesome show.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you 3 or 4 minutes. I want you to tell the people who Stacey Thomas is and what Stacey Thomas got going on. Yes, I do.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Well, you told him I'm Stacey Thomas, author, advocate, talk show host, newly film producer, and Angela. Yeah, Stacey Thomas on
Stacey
YouTube.
Thomas. Yeah.
YouTube, the Stacey Thomas Talk Show, and my biggest thing is, remember that the film, the books, when you see that's my it. That's my it. That's my gifts that God gave me. But my
Mm-hmm.
passion at the end of the day is fighting for ALS patients. So if anybody ever has a question or anything, and they can always inbox me, and if I don't know
Right.
the answer, I'll
Yeah.
try to direct them to the person that does know the answer.
Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say make sure you get them information how they can contact you. If they want to help you. Continue come along with you as you do your advocacy. You see what I'm saying? But for ALS. But thank you, my love. Thank you to those that stuck in here with us. Stuck in here with us. Thank you so much. Y'all hear this. Somebody needs to hear this podcast, and it's going to help somebody somehow.
Right.
It's going to do
Thank
that,
you.
okay? So, with that being said, y'all already know what it is. It's getting what it is. It's getting ready to be a closed show tonight, and thank y'all for coming. And I will see y'all probably Sunday.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
coming. Please make sure you go to my page and give me a review. And remember, Miss J Speaks Talk Show and Podcast is all for you.
Yes, that was yes.